to be honest, going forward at the top of the interview, I'm having a hard time finding a path for Alabama to win this game against Georgia. Just in all honesty, not that I don't think Alabama isn't a good team, because Alabama's a very good team. I mean, they went 11-1. They went 7-1 in the SEC West, which I think is the most competitive division. Forget conference, just division in all of college football. And so they have they've been really good. This is not last year's Alabama team, though. I think it's a remarkable coaching achievement by Nick Saban that this team is 11-1 with a lot of flaws, a lot of injuries, a lot of new faces. But when you look at this game, 2 years ago it was Notre Dame's year. 2010 it was Auburn's year. Alabama's had several of those seasons where it was just their year and their time. I go back to 2009 after Alabama had lost the year before to Florida in the SEC championship game. In the fourth quarter, they came back as a 5-point underdog and beat the number one ranked undefeated Gators with Tim Tebow and went on to win their first national championship under Nick Saban. It was their time. I think this is Georgia's time, Mark. I think this is the best football team that Kirby Smart has had. I think it's probably the best Georgia football team since maybe 1982. That team didn't win the national championship, but they were undefeated going into the Sugar Bowl. Of course, 1980, they won it. And Kirby's had a couple great teams. Mark Richt had a couple of great teams. But I think this is the best Georgia team since those Herschel Walker teams in the early 80s. And I think it's their time. I think they're a better football team. Defensively, I don't know. They're doing something, Mark, that I didn't think was possible in this day and age. With the offensive rules the way they are and the explosive offenses, they're putting up defensive numbers like we saw 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. Some of these great Alabama defenses. I mean, they're giving up under 7 points a game, 83 points total on the season, 69 of that actually just given up by the defense. So they're phenomenal. They're solid. They're healthier than Alabama. They've been able to dictate in every game they've played. It's been on their terms because they've been so much better. I think Alabama's only shot is to somehow get out in front, get it into the second half, and see if Georgia gets uncomfortable having to come from behind, which they have not had to do. But, that's just my feelings, and we'll get into more reasons why. But I think that it's very difficult to see Alabama winning this game, particularly with the injury situation. They've got one healthy scholarship running back, Trey Sanders, and he's coming off 2 years of major injuries. We don't know Brian Robinson Jr.'s status. Even if he plays, he's not going to be 100% healthy. So it's a banged-up Alabama team coming off a brutally tough 4 overtime game at Jordan-Hare Stadium against Auburn. And I think Georgia's just in the catbird seat here.
Yeah, Georgia, probably the two best teams they faced this year, not necessarily the two best offenses, but the two best teams, Clemson and Arkansas. If you watch those games beyond the statistics that you just cited that are amazing, if you doubled their points given up this year, they'd still lead the nation in points given up. But it's more than just, again, the effectiveness of the defense. It's like they don't even allow the other team to run the play half the time. They're blowing up in the backfield and not even allowing them to get the play started. So it's just amazing. It's just all this 5-star recruiting is now gelling and coming into. They've had really good teams, obviously, the last 5 years, but this is the one that's just hitting on all cylinders, especially on that side of the ball.